And when you target shopping addicts or people who struggle with shopping and then do the TJ Maxx haul, what are we doing? Maybe you've considered yourself a shopaholic in the past, or maybe you're somebody who's felt like you've just spent too much time, energy, and money shopping, whatever you want to call it. And you're looking to change things, change your habits, and shop less. This is your mindset and your perspective. And then you come across this account. It has 2.6 million followers, and the bio of this account says your favorite recovering shopaholic. So you click on a video and this is what you see.
This is part 2 of everything that I purchased this week from Home Goods. All of the Halloween stuff is starting to roll out, and that is some of the favorite stuff that I like to buy. I got Hello Kitty as a skeleton, and then I also got Hello Kitty as a mummy. I love her, and I couldn't believe I found both of these at the same time. And then I also got these really, really cute ghost pink pillows, which I almost bought last year for a ridiculous amount on Poshmark, but I held out, and I'm so glad I did because I got them for $24.99. These
The kind of content I would expect from somebody claiming to be a recovering shopaholic would be somebody who might be decluttering, somebody who is documenting their recovery, which might look like sharing their insights, reflecting on how it's going, what it's like for them to stop shopping or cut back if they're doing some kind of reduction. They might be talking about their struggles. They might be going on a no-buy. They might be trying a budget. They might be in therapy. Maybe they share that, maybe they don't. Maybe they share what it's like using what they have, how they're going to go about changing their perspective, how they're going to go about changing their habits. There are many accounts out there who are stop shopping accounts. Some of them are no buy, some of them aren't. And they engage in something like this. Maybe they look at news articles, or maybe they look at past behavior or past hauls, or maybe if they're, let's say they're a clothing kind of person, maybe they create outfits with what they already have, or shopping their stash if they're a makeup person. There are tons of ways that people who are recovering shopping addicts or people who are trying to change what they have, lots of kind of content out there that they might participate in. I don't expect this kind of content. This TikTok account, Brooke the Shopaholic, has historically been a shopping account, and they primarily haul new stuff, and they showcase a ton of stuff in their everyday life. They showcase a lot of luxury items, and mostly in the bag category. But there's just so much stuff that they showcase in their everyday life that I think you have to see it to kind of get the vibe. The recovering shopaholic component adds so much nuance to her channel and to the influence that she can have on her audience, and also the kinds of audience members or people who might be drawn to her channel that weren't drawn to her previously. And that complicates or nuances the power and type of influence that she has, and I want to talk about it today. I'm of the opinion that she is using words like recovery or shopaholic as buzzwords or clickbait in order to entice people to her channel. They're a tool or mechanism of views, and in my opinion, appealing to a certain kind of person, somebody who might be interested in shopaholic or recovery content, also comes with the responsibility of treating this content with care. That even if she is somebody who is truly in recovery, I do not believe she is treating that topic or this kind of audience with care. I first want to talk about the recovery aspect of her account, and then later on, I'm going to be talking about her influence. So whether or not you believe she is actually in recovery is kind of one thing, but the kind of influence that she has, even if she is in recovery, is a completely different conversation. And I think that if you are somebody who is looking to change how you shop or change your shopping habits, or you're in recovery yourself, I don't think that this is a channel that's going to be helpful. And I'll talk about why and how you may be negatively influenced if you come across this channel looking for, some kind of inspiration or help. Recovery looks different for so many people, and there are different ways in which people can go on such a journey. Some people are self-diagnosing themselves. Other people are getting more clinical diagnoses. Some people are going on their journeys without professional help. Some people are. There are different scales of problems, and even if we're talking to a group of people who were comprised of 100% shopping addicts or former shopping addicts, the scale of the problem would probably differ amongst the group, but also the kinds of consequences and which ones affect them the most are, there's probably some variety there as well. I say this to say that recovery just looks different in how people start on that journey. Like, there doesn't have to be, and there isn't this one right way to do it. I also don't think it's fair to expect people who are going on some kind of recovery journey to just stop shopping cold turkey. There might be people who do quit cold turkey, but there's also probably people who just slowly reduce things over time. So the fact that this person is still shopping isn't really the problem, because I can imagine somebody who is in recovery for shopping, they may slowly reduce things over time, or they might tackle specific components first, or tackle emotional components first, or maybe they seek therapy first before changing spending behavior. There's lots of ways to go about it that don't inherently look like immediately stopping shopping. I think the no-buy movement, one of the potential downsides is framing the no-buy as like the one solution, or that unless you stop shopping cold turkey, you're not doing it right or you're not serious. And that's not what I'm trying to say here. However, being a shopping addict or somebody in recovery doesn't just give those people a pass for the influence that they can have on other people. In my opinion, this creator calls herself a recovering shopping addict because she has gone on a no-buy. She went on a no-buy in July and she stopped about mid-month, and then she has attempted one again in August, and she seems to be having a little bit more success there, so congratulations to her. She broke her no-buy in July about mid-month, and this alone isn't inherently a problem or indicative of somebody who's trying to bamboozle their audience and like pull one over on them. If it was indicative of something, it might be more indicative of somebody who is struggling. She mentioned that she went on a shopping spiral. If we're using the lens or the terminology of recovery, this would probably be more indicative of a relapse. Being truly unable to not shop can be a sign of shopping addiction. I am not diagnosing her. I am not a professional. So let's get that straight. But when you look at the Bergen scale as an example, which is one of the most widely used tools for diagnosis, although not the only one, that's one of the criteria on there. And so I bring this up to say that her breaking her no-buy would be more evidence of anything of somebody who is struggling than somebody who's trying to bamboozle their audience. I've been there, and I've also been on shopping spirals, so I know firsthand what that feels like. And it's also the fact that I've been there that makes her content so frustrating to me. Her content is frustrating to me, and why people have a hard time giving her the benefit of the doubt is how she broke her no-buy, and more importantly than that, how she talks about things and how she talks about shopping, how she talks about the stuff that she bought, and just the whole video series that she made surrounding breaking her no-buy. We're going to watch just a little bit of it because we need to talk about it.
I stopped shopping for 17 days. And then after the 17 days, I went shopping. And I think because I wasn't shopping, I went a little crazy. I want to try doing a no shopping month in April, August. I want to do a no spend in August. So I might as well show you guys everything that I got. If you're going to judge me, whatever, I'm a shopping account. I'm not promoting overconsumption. I'm just showing you literally what I bought because I like to see what other people buy. Let's start with the blankets. I did get this pink pumpkin Hello Kitty blanket. It was not $14.99. If I tell you guys how much I spent on this blanket, you guys are going to, I don't know what you're going to do, but I cannot tell you how much I spent on that blanket. I did get it on Poshmark. And then I also picked up this blanket today. I love the pink candy corns. And then I also got this Cynthia Rowley blanket with the little bows. Obsessed. On Poshmark, the same seller that I got the pink blanket from, she was selling this for 25 bucks. And this is only $20 at the store, but I can never find any of the strawberry Hello Kitty at my store. So I went ahead and purchased that from her. And then peeking out right here, look at how freaking cute these sheets are. Like literally obsessed. I cannot, oh my God, look, they kind of match my nails. Let's do pillows next. I got this pillow from TJ Maxx. I love her. I'm gonna do this year is I'm gonna decorate my house, and then whatever pillows I don't end up using, I am going to resell because I don't want to have excess, but I do want cutesy pillows. With this blanket, I did get these. I'm so excited about these. I'm thinking of actually getting a couch and putting it right here and then putting this blanket and these pillows on it. Let me know what you guys think because honestly, I think this is like a great space for it. This is where I'm at in my room if anybody is wondering. I did also find this.
Have you ever seen somebody who has broken a no-buy talk about all this stuff like you're seeing here? I was alerted to her account through this video. I was tagged in it, and I was also sent it multiple times from people who were shocked or found her account through her attempt to be a no-buy, thinking that like, okay, my shopping kind of matches hers, or I feel like the scale of my problem matches hers. So they found her channel following along early in her no-buy, thinking that they're gonna get the no-buy content, and then you see stuff like this where it's the attitude and the language describing the haul that it makes me kind of mad because she's talking about things excitedly and squealing and talking about this stuff like a regular haul, like regular people haul TJ Maxx or Shein or whatever. This video is irresponsible in my opinion. People who are genuinely in recovery and are trying to change how they shop do not talk about their stuff like this or breaking their no-buy like this. After she broke her no-buy, she did multiple shop with me's. She physically brought you inside the store to like watch her break her no-buy. She brought you with her. And this was the collective haul after all of that shopping.
I decided on July 1st that I wasn't going to shop for 30 days. One, I wanted to see if I could do it. I knew it was going to be a challenge for me because I am a shopping account. Halloween decor just came out in most of the stores and I love Halloween. And most of the people that I follow on Instagram are shopping accounts. So I knew it was going to be challenging, but I also knew that I could do it. It is July 16th and I decided to go shopping today. I didn't last 30 days, but I don't look at it like that. It's not like I didn't last. It's like I decided after 16 days, holy shit balls, I was shopping so much. I was jumping on every trend. I was wanting every item that I was just buying so much shit. And it was like I was reckless shopping. And I feel like so many of us do that. And when I really took a step back for 15 days and didn't shop, I was seeing everywhere like all the new stuff and all the stuff that I would have purchased. And yeah, I was like, oh my God, it's cute, but like I can live without it. And one thing that I noticed like even more is if you wait to purchase something after the hype and you still really, really want it, then it means it's meant to be. And then if you're like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't buy that because it's been 2 weeks and I don't even care about it anymore. You know what I mean? Anyways, if you're a shopping account, I challenge you.
This was the video that she made breaking her no-buy. The verbal message isn't a bad one. I can understand where she's coming from with that verbal message, but to pair that verbal message with her actually shopping is counterintuitive in my opinion. And that's where the irresponsibility comes from in potentially influencing her audience to shop. She's putting that message while she's shopping. She's not saying, the visuals isn't to say how crazy this is or like, I've changed my mind. She's coming at this with like, a break was great because I saw myself being reckless with my money, which is such an important insight for her to make. But to pair that with the visuals of her going back shopping is irresponsible for the influence it can have on other people, and it dilutes the message that she's trying to say. That's my opinion. So in the first video that we watched, that, to reiterate, that was the collective haul after all the stuff that she bought in July. And the video that we watched second, that was the video breaking her no-buy. So when I say first video, I'm meaning that collective haul video, the one that I showed first. In that video, she says that she's not promoting overconsumption because she's a shopping account. And that is like one of the most delusional things I've ever heard anybody say. I don't know if that's mean or not, but she does not have a clear grasp on what overconsumption is, both in potentially her life, but in the life of other people and the influence that she has on other people's lives. Because overconsumption as a problem or promoting overconsumption can be showcasing overconsumption in one's everyday life, but secondarily encouraging people to go out and do stuff. And that is what shopping accounts do. Even if she returned everything that she ever bought, by continuously hauling stuff, continuously showing what's new, and continuously going in store to do shopping, she encourages people to buy stuff, to buy more than they need, and to overconsume. The fact that she does not consider what she's doing as overconsumption tells us a lot about what we need to know about her own shopping habits and the perspective that she's coming into or came into her no-buy with. She talked about wanting to get a couch for her candy corn pillows. She's actively talking about buying more, and this does not appear to be somebody who is in recovery. What is entirely missing from her channel is the analysis and all the stuff I mentioned at the top of the video about people who actually are trying to change their lives, who they talk about the process of such a thing. This is really the most we get from her about talking about the process of stopping shopping. Like, where is everything else? Where is the how did it go? Why was this a struggle? All of that component, it's missing from her account. And even when she was on her no-buy, she barely talked about it. Whenever I watch somebody make a video on breaking their no-buy, there are certain kinds of emotions that you tend to hear, or certain kind of language that you hear people talk about that are kind of missing from her breaking her no-buy. Editing Shauna here. One of the reasons why I have a hard time believing that she is actually in recovery is because she still considers herself to be a shopping account, and the no-buy was just a break from shopping. And while that's lovely and she can do that all she wants, and sounds like it's had at least some positive impact on her life, going on a no-buy period does not inherently make one in recovery. And this is entirely part of what I think is misleading people, is to suggest that she is in recovery because she has been on a no-buy. You can start a recovery journey by going on a no-buy, as we mentioned at the top of the video. That's not the only way to start a recovery journey, but I have a hard time believing she is on one, given that she would like to return to shopping after, and the no-buy is the break in the shopping and not what she intends to be normal life going forward or kickstarting anything greater. We truly have no indication that she plans to change anything. She hasn't mentioned it. She hasn't really spoken about it, and regular video Shauna is going to continue on that train of thought now. Ordinarily, I would say that somebody who is in recovery doesn't actually owe us an explanation of what it's like being in recovery. And that is like 99.99999% of the time true. And she is allowed to be in recovery without saying a thing. That's totally acceptable. She doesn't need my permission to do it, but that is totally fine. She can seek therapy or help or guidance or do some of it on her own or all of it on her own. She is allowed to do that. However, claiming to be a recovery account or to be in recovery on her bio so publicly as a way to entice viewership, in my opinion, sets the precedent and expectation that you will share something of your recovery journey. I also feel like, generally speaking, people who are in recovery are looking out or care quite a big deal about the impact that they would have on other people who are also in recovery. There is a level of compassion or empathy for other people who are also in recovery that I feel like is sorely missing from the channel. I believe that she should remove this from her bio if she, number one, doesn't intend to share much, if any, of her recovery publicly. And I think more importantly than that, if she is still going to entice her audience to consume. When people make the decision to share their recovery publicly, they tend to do it for a few reasons. One, because they want to document their journey in some kind of public fashion or document some part of their journey publicly. Number two is because they want to help other people. And number three, it's because they want accountability. You can get one of these three things, or you can get some combination or all of these things. And I personally feel like all of them are missing from her account. It's the looking out for other people and the effect that she can have on her audience that is missing. And overconsumption isn't even the biggest problem that somebody who is in recovery would face. Sure, that's part of the problem, but I kind of feel like it's a lot of the other stuff that would drive somebody to say, yeah, I need help. Or it's the behavior that is quite often the concern. People who are shopping addicts, they can be secretive about their money and how much they're spending. They can have strained relationships with people in their lives, friends, loved ones, coworkers, etc. They can struggle with their mental health and well-being because of it. They can have trouble dealing with their emotions and emotional regulation because of their shopping. They can have financial difficulty and strain, which can also lead to other hardships or other difficulties with other people in their lives. And all of these things can compound to create stress and strain. Shopping addiction isn't a joke or some kind of quirky thing to be like, haha, I'm like on a no-buy. It's not funny. It's not a joke, because shopping addiction truly can ruin people's lives. And when you target shopping addicts or people who struggle with shopping and then do the TJ Maxx haul, what are we doing? I believe that if I watched her content 4 or 5 years ago, I would be triggered to shop. If I was on TikTok watching this exact video while I was on a no-buy, I would absolutely be triggered. People in recovery are quite often doing things to protect themselves, or if they're facing a trigger, to do it in a safe and or incremental way. I think watching these videos could absolutely trigger somebody into a relapse. This isn't the same as somebody searching up a Shein haul or stumbling across a Shein haul accidentally and or watching it anyways. This is somebody who is targeting the folks who are actual shopping addicts. There's some responsibility on the part of the creator to do better. I get really frustrated about this because I understand what it's like to be in the position of somebody who needs to change their shit. I remember the absolute emotional toll shopping took on me, or the outlet, or using shopping as an outlet for my emotions and my mood. I have a very hard time believing somebody who has gone through that kind of shit would do something like this. One of the most heinous things this channel is doing is serving ads, also while on a no-buy. She's actively encouraging people to buy stuff. This is not the same as hauling stuff because it's still encouraging people to shop, but it's not an explicit promotion of go out and shop and buy stuff. Serving somebody an ad is. In July, while she was on a no-buy, she served 15 ads. That's one every other day. As of August 23rd, she has served 5 ads. She has served less than July, and I would say less than overall, so good for her for reducing it. But any is too much while on a no-buy, while also claiming to be in recovery. I think it's a negative influence on her audience. Also, because she said in July she wanted to go on a no-buy in August, there was pre-planning of her being on a no-buy, and therefore, in my opinion, also planned to serve ads while on a no-buy. This is not the kind of account that you would get inspiration from. I was gonna say you should avoid the channel if you're looking to not overconsume and change how you shop, but I would also say avoid it because it promotes overconsumption with the constant hauling of stuff. It's not just the hauls, it's she's doing purse collections and tours of stuff and tours of her drawers and tours of her makeup and all of that. That is just showcasing just how much stuff she has. And a lot of her stuff is on the newer side. So, or even like trends, like she has a ton of the Marc Jacobs tote bags, which kind of have a bit of or did at least have a bit of a cult status. And so seeing all of the Marc Jacobs stuff can trigger some folks to wanting to buy them because you're seeing them and she's loving on them and she's like talking about it and also in some cases using it when she's refilling her bags. She also has done Hello Kitty tours, Hello Kitty declutters. We've seen her she has a rolling rack of blankets. So I think in some cases, just seeing the quantity of stuff can be triggering to people. Editing Shauna here. I want to say a couple of things before we close out the video. There is a fine line between overconsumption and shopping addiction, or more like a blurred line. Both of these things can be separate and together. And so somebody who does have a shopping addiction can promote overconsumption. And because we are not this creator, we don't know whether she has a problem or not. Regardless of whether she has a shopping problem, she is still responsible for the content that she puts out, as well as the influence that she has on other people. What is perhaps also worth reiterating is that the reason why I do not believe she is in recovery is because she does not intend to stop shopping. That also doesn't mean that she does or doesn't have a problem. It just means that she doesn't intend to do anything about it. So I think it is unethical to entice people to a channel under the guise of recovery while not providing any recovery content and then serving those people hauls and ads. And I do not usually speculate on things like shopping addiction or addiction or mental health concerns. Generally speaking, the only reason why it was brought up at all in this context is because the creator is using it as a tool. But I ultimately hope that if this creator really believes that she has a problem, that she does get help for it. And I also think if you're somebody who is into luxury stuff, or you're somebody who might want to change your shopping habits, but your shopping habits align more in like the luxury sector, there are people who were luxury clothing wearers or buyers or luxury bag kind of people who have changed their habits to stop shopping or reduce their spending. There's lots of that going on. And so there are people at higher incomes who are also changing things and changing their behavior. So there are other maybe better examples of that you can follow on YouTube or TikTok that aren't this. And you can watch people document the process of selling all of their stuff, selling all of their designer goods, all their designer bags and clothes, or coming to terms with how much money they've spent, or just thinking differently or wanting different things in life now that they've made whatever realization or hit whatever milestone. Even that content doesn't look like this. There's lots of different niches out there and different people who are doing different mixtures of things. I wanted a no-buy for makeup, and that's kind of how I entered the world. There are people who come on to no-buys, because I'm talking about no-buys here because this is kind of what she's doing. There are people who come on to no-buys from the fashion aspect of things or from the designer aspect of things. There are people who are on book bans or planner kind of no-buys. There's lots of different content out there of people who are doing that. There's also lots of people who are on debt journeys and debt repayment journeys. There is truly a world full of content of amazing people who are genuinely trying to change their lives and change their shopping habits that aren't this. And if you go and consume that content, if you haven't already, you would see the care that is quite often put into these channels or these pages and people kind of documenting different parts of their journey. I say all of this to say that I don't think this is going to have a positive influence on you if you're trying to change how you shop. I think it's the constant hauling and shopping, the constant ads and showing of new stuff is very likely going to trigger many folks out there. So as you wrap up this video, I would like to hear from you. I would like to hear your favorite stop shopping accounts. We're going to call it stop shopping accounts so it can kind of encompass tons of people who are on no buys or low buys from any aspect, people who are on debt repayment journeys, people who are on shopping addiction recovery journeys. All of this stuff can blend together, of course, but you might get some unique perspectives. I would love to hear any of your favorites. Even people who really encourage you to use what you have, or people who talk about overconsumption or countering overconsumption, maybe promoting conscious consumption, any kind of those. Let us know in the comments, because I think that these kinds of accounts would be absolutely welcome. Well, not just by me, but in this community, because we tend to be people who want to be conscious of how we're shopping, of when we buy stuff, but also when we don't buy stuff. And also the influence that we want to have or want to consume online. Because I know that I want to be mindful of the content that I consume. So I'm mindful of how I am influenced. And I know I'm not alone in that. So I would love all of your recommendations in the comments so we can hear who each other are loving and we can get positive influence and inspiration that way. That's it from me today. Thank you so much for watching, hanging out with me today. I would love to see you again around here soon for a new video. Bye.